Profesör Doktor SABRI KICMARI Kosovo Dışişleri Bakanlığı'nda Diplomasi Akademisi Başkanlığı'nı yürütüyor. Kendisi aynı zamanda Avusturya ve Avustralya'da büyükelçi olarak görev yaptı. Bu diplomatik kariyerinin arka planında da üniversitede yapmış olduğu siyaset bilimi alanındaki kariyeri var. Onun da öncesinde Bonn Üniversitesi'nde Almanya'da siyaset bilimi alanında, diplomasi alanında yüksek lisans ve doktora yaptı, tezlerini yazdı. Çalışmaları ağırlıklı olarak Balkanlar üzerine, özelde ise Kosovo üzerine. Öncelikle şunu söyleyeyim, değerli öğrenciler, değerli konuklar. Kosovo 2008 yılında 17 Şubat günü itibariyle bağımsızlığını ilan etti ve bağımsızlık ilanından itibaren Kosova'yı ilk tanıyan devletlerden bir tanesi Türkiye olmuştur. Biz de 2010 yılında Balkan ve Karadeniz Araştırmaları Merkezi olarak kurulduk. İktisadi İdare Fakültemiz daha eski, dekanımız temsil ediyor. O tarihten itibaren Kosova ile ilişkilerimizi yürütüyoruz. Özellikle de Arnavutça kursları yürütüyoruz burada. Kamil Bitiş Kosova Kültür Merkezi'nin müdürlüğünü ve koordinatörlüğünü yürüttü. Onun gönüllülüğü sayesinde çok sayıda öğrencimiz, yüzlerce öğrencimiz burada toplamda Arnavutça eğitim aldılar. Bunların bir kısmı Türkiye Dışişleri'de veya diğer kurumlarda bugün görev yapıyorlar. Arnavutçalarını geliştirmeye çalışıyorlar. Dolayısıyla çok geniş ve elimizden geldiğince sürdürmeye çalıştığımız faaliyetlerimiz var. Büyük bir mutluluk duyuyoruz Sayın Büyükelçi'yi burada ağırlamaktan ve teşekkür ediyoruz Başkonsolosumuza böyle bir organizasyonu bize mümkün kıldığı için. Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much that you accepted our invitation and you will make a talk to our students and floor is yours. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I would like first to thank Professor Halit Keskin for inviting me and Professor who studied, Professor Mehmet has studied in Germany like me. In the same time, I think. We finished Masters 2001 in the same year. I would like to thank our Consul General. She is one of our very good diplomats. Thank you very much, Consul, for your work here in Turkey. And I would like to thank colleagues, Camil Bitici and our Consul, my staff, Enis Cemali, and every one of professors. They are attending here. And I am really very happy to speak to students. You know, before, I think I can do that. Maybe it's easy. Before I started to work as ambassador, I was professor at the university, and I am every time happy to speak to students. You know, I know you are young, you have ideas for the future, and you can plan, but you never know what will happen in the future. Very important is to be sure in your ideas and rational. When I studied in Germany, I never dreamed that one day I will be ambassador. It was not my plan. But I am Albanian from Kosovo. We Albanians are proud people. We lived under Serbian occupation. And the dream of my generation, 1981, when I was just 13 years old, was to be free and independent. And I must say that my topic today has to do with that. How you build a new country. We were part, you will see, we were part you see here the map of Europe. Istanbul is here, but then here is Kosovo, Serbia, Albania, Greece, Bulgaria, and so on, Montenegro, and this part of, just to see, that's the former Yugoslavia. You know? You can see the map again. That's Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia, Serbia, Macedonia, Montenegro, and Kosovo were in one country, the former Yugoslavia. From former Yugoslavia, we have now 7 new countries. You see, these are new countries. That's the Kosovo flag. If you like to ask me why 6 stars are there, you can be sure that one of them is Albanian. It's a symbolic representation of Albania, but one other is Turkish, for our community, for our Turkish community, and the other are for other communities in Kosovo. We are, that means that's the map of Kosovo in our flag, but the stars are symbols of our ethnic communities in Kosovo. We are, let's say, you can say small country, okay. We can accept that, but there are a lot of countries that are smaller than Kosovo. We will see later about that. 1.8 million inhabitants in Kosovo, but we have about 600,000 to 700,000 around Europe citizens from Kosovo. They are living in Germany, Switzerland, Austria, Sweden, and everywhere. With Turkey, we have, I think, millions of people. They are Kosovars, so they were coming during centuries, not just last 20th century. I just was informed from Mr. Petrucci that his family was in a very bad time in Kosovo, 1956, when Serbian regime was very hard against Albanians in Kosovo. We have 2 official, Pristina is our capital, we have two official languages, Albanian and Serbian. They are just 4% of people in Kosovo, they are speaking Serbian, but we decided to respect their languages. And we have regional languages like Bosnian, Turkish, and Romani. Turkish is in prison and official languages. If we have 5% in a municipality, then is an official languages. We declared independence on 17th of February. That means not very, or not long, when was that? 13 years ago. You were children, I think most of you, on that time. But the older they are here, I think every one of them knows what was happened on 17th of February. And we are very proud of our Turkish friends. They are first. Turkey is one of first countries that recognize Kosovo. I cannot say first country because there are 7 countries. They decided on the same day. I don't know who was the first one that gave the letter to our president. But anyway, I was in Ankara last week and had a very good meeting with the director for Southeastern Europe in your foreign ministry, in the Turkish foreign ministry, and he said that he was written the letter for recognition, and these 7 countries for us, that they decided to recognize just one day after our independence. We recognize them as countries. They are first countries that recognize Kosovo. Turkey is one of these first countries that recognize Kosovo, and we are very thankful for that. You know, its recognition is a moment, a very important moment in the relationship between countries, and especially if that will happen after independence. That means, in this case, we are really very, very thankful for Turkey. Our currency is euro. We are not part of Eurozone, but we decided after 2002 to use euro as our currency. You have seen the map. We are located in southeastern Europe. That's a complicated place. When the region is located geographically between Asia and Europe. Roman, Byzantine Empire, then Ottoman Empire, Venice, Austro-Hungary, and Russia, all of them moved to our region. We lived together with Ottoman Empire for 500 years. We were part of Ottoman Empire. A lot of Kosovarian or a lot of people from Kosovo during the Ottoman Empire played an important role in the Turkey or in Ottoman politics at that time. Religiously is a mix. The majority maybe are Orthodox, but a good number of people in our region are Islamic religion, and let's say Catholics are minority in our region, I think. What was happened after Soviet Union and Yugoslavia were broken up? It was two movements. One was patriotic one, and the second was nationalism. What's the difference between nationalism and patriotism? Nationalist is someone who loves nation but hate the other nations. And patriot is someone who loves his nation but don't hate the other nations. That's the difference between patriotism and nationalism. And after the broken up of Soviet Union and Yugoslavia, we saw in our region or in Europe both of these tendencies. Just to explain why I'm saying that both of these tendencies. First, we saw the tendency of patriotism to be independent, not to hate other countries, but just to be free and independent. That's a legitimate idea. And you saw from former Yugoslavia we have 7 new countries. From former Soviet Union we have 22 countries. But at the same time we had nationalism, hating other nations. And that was happening in former Yugoslavia. Serbia attacked first Slovenia, then Croatia, Bosnia, and Kosovo. In 7 years, they did 4 wars. If you ask me what they won, nothing. They just lost. But even we lost. We lost a lot of people during this time of war. That's the nationalism. If you hate other nations, if you hate other countries, you can not win. You can just lose. And I think Serbia's example is one of the best examples that you don't need nationalism, but you need more patriotism. But anyway, after the changing of the system, we have a better situation in southeastern Europe. let's say, in the last 20 years. I don't like the name Balkans, to be honest to you. Balkans in Europe, in Western Europe, even in Germany, where we studied together with Professor Mehmet, the Balkans, they think Balkans is a symbol of war, conflict. You know, it's negative meaning. I like this word, sufism. We are Europeans. Even if some radicals, right radicals in Europe are not happy with that. But we are in Europe. We are part of Europe. We are proud Europeans. That's not bad. That's good. Anyway, after the broken up of former Yugoslavia and the Soviet Union, the ideological dividing wall has been overcome. None of our countries in the region like to have one-party system or communist system, let's say. About 75 million citizens in our region are more mobile, moving from state to state, doing business and spending holiday on the coast. A lot of them in Turkey. I was 2 times with my family here. We enjoyed that. I must say, I have to be honest to you. They were best holidays that we had. I was everywhere in the world. But the holidays in Turkey are excellent. A lot of food. Excellent. Just my family enjoyed that. I think a lot of people from Southeastern Europe moved to Antalya, Alanya, and everywhere in Turkey. And that's very good. If you see what was happened politically, 5 Southeastern European countries are part of European Union: Romania, Bulgaria, Greece, Croatia, and Slovenia. On the way to be member by the European Union are Albania, Macedonia, Serbia, Montenegro, and Turkey and Bosnia and Herzegovina have candidate status. I think Turkey opened some capitals, but I know like I said, radical-oriented forces in Europe are not happy with the Turkish membership. We have to improve that. We have to work together. I think we have to change this position. But in the issue or in the terms of security, our region was moving very well. Turkey, Romania, Bulgaria, Greece, Croatia, Slovenia, Albania, Montenegro, and Macedonia are part of NATO. Kosovo has a clear pro-NATO orientation. Bosnia and Herzegovina is divided in 2. The Serbs are not happy to be member by the NATO, but Croats and Bosniaks are for NATO membership. But we have a problem in our region. That's the Republic of Serbia, which prefers a military alliance with Russia and Belarus. And that's a problem that we in our region. Let's come back to the types of states. I mean, in the first group, you can divide states according to geography, history, population, and culture. In others, you can divide them because of economic capacity, military capacity, and technological capacity. Political scientists divide them on the size of the territory, the number of inhabitants, the GDP, the size of their army. It's not a very clear definition what is a small country. Some scientists say 10 to 15 million people are small. Less than 10 to 15, they are small countries. some say 15 million people. Anyway, it is not a definition what is a small country. You cannot decide after this number you are a small country, larger than this number you are a little. But anyway, approximately 10 to 15, we can accept that. Okay, Kosovo, like I said, we can say is a small country, but Kosovo is a small country compared to Japan, Turkey, or Germany. Okay, Turkey is bigger than Kosovo, has more inhabitants than Kosovo. But you see, Luxembourg, Palau, Nauru, Cyprus, Andorra, they are smaller than Kosovo. They are about 20 members by the UN, they are smaller than Kosovo. If you ask me what kind of people are living in Kosovo, they are Illyrians, a very old nation, old people. No one knows when they settled in this region. It's the oldest nation in Southeastern Europe. It's the oldest nation there. Slavs, as Serbs, let's say Montenegrin and today's Macedonia, they moved in our region in the 6th and 7th century. In that time, the Illyrian people was there. It was a very important time in the 14th century when Ottoman Empire moved to our region. You know, they were moving not just in our region, but even in the direction of Europe. When I worked in Vienna for 5 years, and I was living close to Turkenschanz Park. Turkenschanz Park is a park in which part the Turkish or Ottoman Empire military units moved till Vienna. That means it was a movement of, let's say, military movement on that time, and it's very interesting history to study, you know. But during all of this time, the majority of people were Albanians. What was happened after 1912, or let's say 1878 first, my surname is KICMARI. KICMARI is a small town in Toplica, in Serbia. I am not Serb, I am Albanian. The majority of people in Toplica region till 1878 were Albanians. But after Congress of Berlin, 1878, was decided that this part of Ottoman Empire to move to Serbia. And it was an aggression of the Serbian units against the Albanian population, and my family moved together with 200,000 people from this region to today's Kosovo. It was a bad situation after 1912, after Ottoman Empire moved from Albania. We had really a very bad time after that. Kosovo was occupied from Serbia, and this occupation tried till 1999. Kosovo, like I said, was part of former Yugoslavia. We never accepted to be part of former Yugoslavia. The Albanians were not happy. Then, you know, Yugoslavia means South Slav. Albanians are not Slav. we don't hate the Slavs. We don't have problems with them. But we are not Slavs. And what was happening in the former Yugoslavia, we had the same status than other nations in the former Yugoslavia. We had no republic status. Montenegro has just 600,000 inhabitants. We had 1.5 million. Montenegro has a republic status, Kosovo not. But why? Because we are not Slavs. We are different from the Slavic groups. That was the idea behind the Communist Party of former Yugoslavia. Anyway, we got 1974. We got the autonomous province status, was a little better than before, and 1989, Slobodan Milosevic, the Serbian president, decided to withdraw our autonomous status. We were not happy with that. We had not accepted. I was student at that time. I organized demonstration against this occupation of the Serbian regime. And we tried after 1989 till 1997, let's say, to organize a non-violent resistance. Not just through demonstration. We organized parallel system and education parallel system. In the we were not allowed to go to the university. What we did, we organized our university in private houses. We were not allowed to go to our schools. We organized our schools in private houses. We organized our elections for the parliament and for president outside of the Serbian occupation system. Till 1997. 1990, it started, let's say, 1993, actually, after Dayton Conference, in which international community recognized the fact that was built underground through the wars between Bosniaks and Serbs. And we realized at that time, international community will accept if you have a force, if you have something to say, not just non-violence resistance. And our people organized the Kosovo Liberation Army, UÇK. That was our army, built in underground from Adem Yashari, our national hero. He started to build the units for our independence. And he was murdered together with 56 members of his family in his house. In 5, 6, and 7 March 1998, Serbian units came to the house and attacked him, together with all people, with his father, his mother, his brothers, women, and children. 56 of them. And he was not in Serbia going to attack the Serbs. He was in his house. That's the moment that Kosovo War started. And our people react on this criminal attack of the Serbian regime to organize an war against Serbian regime. And must say, the majority of people from Kosovo supported the Kosovo Liberation Army. We got a lot of soldiers. In some weeks, we got thousands of young people. They decided to fight for our independence, for free Kosovo. But what was happened? The Serbian police and military units, they attacked the civilians. Even in the Račak January 15, 1999, they murdered a lot of civilians. And that was the moment in which international community realized that they have to do something. And we organized, it was organized an international conference in Rambouillet in February 1999, in which was discussed to find a way for peace in Kosovo. Serbia decided not to accept the peace agreement. Our representatives accepted the proposal of the international community, and what was happened, maybe the old generation knows that, it was a NATO attack against Serbia. For 78 days, NATO attacked Serbia because of Kosovo. We got a lot of support, even from Turkey. Turkey was part of this mission. And on 9th of June, Serbia accepted the fact that they can not more administer Kosovo. And 12th of June, Kosovo was free, even from the support of Turkey. But from US, UK, Germany, all of them supported us on that time. But we were free in June 99, but not independent. Free, but not independent. What I am proud after the war, I mean, it was everything destroyed. 70% of houses, bridges, schools, streets, everything was destroyed during the war. And I'm really very proud with our people that we worked very well after the war to rebuild our country. In 5 years, we rebuilt our country. If you visited Kosovo 2005, you could not see any sign of war, just monuments of our heroes, but no houses destroyed, no schools. We rebuilt that. And I must say that we have done that with a lot of support from international community and a lot of support from Turkey. Turkey was one of our supporters, our friends, let's say. They supported very well the Turkish government, Turkish people, Turkish associations, invested in different forms. And this rebuilding of our country in 5 years, we could not do alone without such support. And we are very thankful for that. We never forget that. Yes, after 2005, we decided, we had a discussion with the international community. It was a negotiation process of what to do with Kosovo. They are free, but not independent. And it was built a group of negotiators under President Martti Ahtisaari. He was a former Finnish president. And we discussed 2 years long with the Serbian representatives for the solution, to find a solution which will be accepted from both sides. Was not successful. Serbia didn't accept the fact that the 94% or 96% of population in Kosovo is happy with independence. After 2 years negotiation, President Martti Ahtisaari proposed an independence for Kosovo. Serbia was not happy. We declared independence on 17th of February. independence, Serbia decided to, they were not happy, they had not accepted, they tried to do something in the politics, they were not successful. They were successful in that sense that we could not be membered by the United Nations, by the UN, because of Russia veto right. Russia decided to use veto right against our membership. You know, to be part of the European, to be part of United Nations, to be part of UN, you have to have a recommendation from the Security Council of UN. In the Security Council, there are 5 countries, they have veto right. If they use this veto right, no resolution will be passed. No resolution will be accepted. Do you know who are these 5 big countries they have veto right?
Yes.
Do you, from the students? Know someone from the students? Yes, please.
USA.
Exactly, one. USA is one of them.
France.
Huh?
Russia.
France, yes, good.
China.
Russia, China, which was forgotten.
France.
Russia, China, France, UK, and USA. That's right. They have veto right. If they use this veto right, you cannot be part of UN. And Russia decided to use veto right to block our membership. But to be member by the European Union, by the UN, is not a precondition of statehood. You can be a good country without UN membership. I can say some examples. Switzerland was not UN member till 2002. Germany till 1972. China till 1971. Albania, Hungary, Ireland, Bulgaria till 1955. That means it's not a precondition. You can be a good country without UN membership. But what was happened? Serbia was not happy that we are independent, and they tried to use the International Court of Justice against us. They initiated a process to the UN General Assembly with the question, is the unilateral declaration of independence by the provisional institution of self-government of Kosovo in accordance with the international law? They asked the International Court of Justice. We haven't asked international. We just decided for independence. That was the will of people, but they asked them. And on July 22nd, that means 2.5 years after our independence, the International Court of Justice decided the independence of Kosovo is not against international law. Even that was initiated from Serbia, they lost this legal war. And that's, let's say, finish with the idea to block our independence. Actually, the Republic of Kosovo has been recognized by 117 countries. I'd like to inform you about one thing. When I was 10 years ambassador, 5 years in Vienna and 5 years in Australia. When I was going to Vienna in October 2008, 6 months after our independence. I was one of 10 first ambassadors of Kosovo, and I visited Turkish ambassador in Vienna. And I asked him for support, for recognition. We had less than 117 countries that recognized Kosovo at that time. And he said yes. And we got a dinner together with 5 ambassadors from countries that recognize Kosovo. 5 ambassadors of countries they had not recognized Kosovo in the residence of Turkish ambassador in Vienna. If you like, I can say the name. Selin Yunel is your ambassador there, was on that time. And we, during these discussions, 2.5 hours, we got some recognition after that. That means Turkey, our friend, supported us directly, even myself. I know from my experience that we got really very, very important support from Turkey. You see, the majority of countries recognize Kosovo. There are some countries they need a little more time. We are working on that, and we asked. I was last week in Ankara to your foreign ministry and asked our friends again to have more support from your side, from your foreign ministry. Kosovo is on the way to be member by the European Union and NATO. We are very happy to have to work on that way. We are together with Turkey in the same boat. We have opened 32 embassies. One of the first embassies, one of these 10 first embassies was opened in Ankara. That's even a moment of respect to our Turkish friends. And I am happy to have here our Consul General, Suzanne Bardaliu, who is playing an excellent role in our relationship between our countries. Please contact her if you are interested about Kosovo. He is an excellent diplomat here. Okay, we are part of different international organizations. We need a little more time for UN, but anyway, we are a proud country, proud independent country, and I'm sure that we will get more recognition and more membership for the future. Thank you very much for your attention.
Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for this very clear and good presentation. I will ask now my students if they would like to ask you any question. Arkadaşlar soru sormak isterseniz lütfen elinizi kaldırıp kendi sorunuzu Türkçe veya İngilizce veya Arnavutça sorabilirsiniz. Çekinilecek bir durum yok. Tanışıyoruz zaten derslerden. Başkonsolosumuz Suzan Hanım zaten ana dili Türkçe olarak konuşuyor. Dolayısıyla yabancı değil. Kesinlikle Arnavut misafirlerimiz de yabancı değil bu arada. Kamil Hoca'yı da tanıyorsunuz Arnavutça derslerinden. Evet, buyurun. Kosova'nın bağımsızlık süreciyle ilgili. Evet, Batuhan buyurun.
Welcome, Mr. Ambassador.
Biraz sesli konuşabilir misin?
Welcome, Mr. Ambassador. How do you see the development of relations between Kosovo and Turkey for the future?
Yes, I mean we are really very good friends, and we have. If you see the investments in Kosovo, Turkey is one of the countries that invested a lot, maybe more than other countries in Kosovo. Our airport was invested from Turkey. Our highway, the best one in the region, I'm proud of that, anyway, is built from Turkey. Politically, we have excellent relations. The exchange between our two governments, between our people-to-people relationship is excellent one. It's really very good, and it built in this friendship is traditional. It's through centuries. It's not a new one. But in the last time we had let's say more intensive friendship in this case.
Başka soru? Mustafa?
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. It was a delightful presentation. I have one objection. It's a political one. You said there is a Cyprus. In Turkish thesis, there is not such a state as Cyprus. Turkish state and Greek state. Is that the only sample, or what's your thought about Cyprus?
Yes, I know that Cyprus is it's, let's say, an international discussion about the situation between two Cyprus. It's a fact that one part of Cyprus is part of the European Union. The other part has a good relationship with Turkey. We, as a country, as an independent country, are not involved in such conflicts, in such situations. We are, like I said, small countries to play a high role, a big role in this conflict. But what maybe as indication, if you like to have, is that Cyprus gehört, I started to speak German, sorry for that. I sometimes think German, and then it's not, it can happen that yes, Cyprus has not recognized Kosovo, the Greece Cyprus. They have not recognized Kosovo. We don't have diplomatic relationship with them. It's, let's say, no exchange with them. It's we have with other countries, they have not recognized Kosovo. We have exchanges or office with Cyprus. We don't have relation, no relationship with them. But as a, let's say, as a careful diplomat, I cannot say more than that about this issue.
Thank you for your response.
Evet.
How is the process of Kosovo joining the European Union, the United Nations or NATO in the short term?
Yes, well, that's a very good question, but complicated. We'd like to be member by the European Union. Like I said, we are Europeans. Our society is pro-European, but not against someone other. We like to be part of the European Union, but equally part. And European Union has some hesitations. If you see, even in our region, they need more time. I can speak open to you. The right extremist forces in the European Union are hard last time. They won a lot of votes. And some countries of the European Union hesitate to open their doors for even for Turkey, but for us, for I don't know, for Albania, for Bosnia, and so for Montenegro, for Macedonia. They are not fair in this sense.
What about NATO?
With NATO, the situation is different. We are not part of NATO, but NATO is in Kosovo. We have Turkish soldiers, Turkish military are in Kosovo. They work together with us. And other NATO military. We are trying not to apply for membership. We need a little more time as a young country, but we will start to ask for the membership by NATO. There are 4 countries from 30. 4 countries they have not recognized Kosovo. That's a little complicated with the NATO membership, but I hope that we will convince the NATO members, even these 4 members, that we can get membership in the next years. With the UN, The situation is clear at the moment. Russia have veto right, like I explained before. Without Russia's support, or let's say abstain, we cannot got the membership by the UN. Then we need this recommendation from Security Council. If you ask, is that right? No, it's not right. It's not fair. It's not really fair. 5 big bosses to decide to be or not to be a member in the UN. It's not fair. But our life is complicated. Not everything is fair, you know. And we have to live with that. We could apply for the status. It calls non-member state. That means you could be member. You could attend by their seats, but you don't have a vote. In our foreign policy, had no discussion about this topic. We are thinking first. We are waiting a little about that. It's an issue that has to discuss in our foreign ministry. Do we need to wait 10 more years if Russia decided in the next 10 years to block our membership, or we have to discuss for an other status within UN? It's a little complicated, but anyway, with the UN, it depends on Russia. It's a little complicated.
I have another question.
Yeah.
What does the current state of Kosovo think about UÇK?
Current Kosovo opinion about UÇK, I think.
Kosovo.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a good question. Kosovo is a multi-ethnic society, political society. We have a pluralistic system, and I cannot say that all Kosovars support UÇK or Kosovo army, but I can pretty sure say that the majority of people from Kosovo support UÇK. The majority of people from Kosovo are proud that we have such good, young, tough heroes that work for our freedom and independence. The majority, and not just from the Albanian part. You can be sure that even Turkish Kosovars work together with UÇK for our freedom and independence. All of Bosniaks, Croats, I don't know what we have, Gorani, all of them support them. Just the 4% Serbs are not happy with that. They represent, but they are 4%. I have respect for our minority, but you know, in a democratic system, the majority decide. And the majority means not just Albanians, but even other minority groups are for independence. In this case, even UÇK got support from Albanians and other minorities in Kosovo. Turkish minority played an excellent role during the war, after the war by rebuilding, and in our democratic system. But I cannot say that every one of them is happy. There are some people, they don't like UÇK, but it's democracy.
The last question, Hamza. Evet.
My question is not about Kosovo, but you talk about the Yugoslavia. And I wonder the happenings in 1995 in Srebrenica. This really, I mean, United Nations really helped Bosniaks. I wonder really that because they say Srebrenica is safe place to Bosniaks, but the happenings in Bosniaks from Serbs. What about this?
Srebrenica was a genocide, like Račak, like Prekaz. That was a genocide. And in Srebrenica, international community was wrong. They have not supported the people. That's a fact. That's a historical fact. We have to live with it. I mean, we have to speak open to that, to realize that that was a mistake, but the international community have not to happen again. But it is a very clear, 8,000 people were killed, were murdered in Srebrenica, and that was very clear from my side as a scientist, as a diplomat, for my opinion, that was a genocide.
Last question by Fatih. You can ask.
Okay. Thank you for your speeches today. We learned a lot of things. And then I really wonder, we talked about European nations, the affair to Kosovo and Russia. I really wonder about how is the relationship of USA and Kosovo?
US and Kosovo.
Yeah.
We have good relationship with US. Traditional, I mean, like I described, during the war, US supported Kosovo. NATO attacked Yugoslavia or Serbia to support the people of Kosovo. Not alone US. It was Turkey, it were all NATO members together, and because of that, the relationship between Kosovo and US is very good.
Can I ask a question as well? Maybe to the students. If any of them is from Kosovo or Yugoslavia? If any of your students is from Kosovo or
Kosova'dan veya eski Yugoslavya'dan kökenleri olan veya Erasmus gibi burada bulunan öğrenci var mı?
and how many have visited Kosovo? Visited. How many have?
Ziyaret eden var mı Kosova'yı, Anadolu vesaire?
One.
And how many are going to visit Kosovo in the future?
Please come and visit.
Mr. Ambassador, we thank you, and I would like also to invite Kamil Kuchici. He wants to present his book about Albanians in Turkey. And then I will also make some. Bunlardan birer tane de başka newsletters from the Center for Balkan Studies. There are only some English texts. Most of them are in Turkish, but one part is about Armenia and Kosovo. And this has also some articles in English, and the rest is in Turkish about Black Sea politics. So,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Maybe they'd like to have a picture. Okay. I will try them. I will try. Sülükşin is one of our employees in our foreign ministry. Oh, I see. Okay, I will try. How often? 2 times a year. 2 times a year. Okay. I will try. Thank you very much.
İsterseniz toplu bir fotoğraf da alabiliriz veya uygun bir yer şu can tarafı değil bu taraftan. Siz oturanları kalsın, arzu edersiniz. Son bir fotoğraf alabiliriz. Fotoğraf çekeceğim.
A picture together? Okay.
Bu tarafa doğru gelebilir miyiz? Bu tarafa doğru gelebilir miyiz? Arkadaşlar biz buraya toplanabilirsek yani ne kadar güzel olursa hatıra olacak. Hepinize göndereceğim. Tamam mı? Yaklaşık geçin.
Ben çok duramadım bir sıra.
Öyle mi? Öyle olur. Daha iyi olur. Büyükler olursun.
Okay.
Kısa boylar benim gibi. Evet. Evet. Biraz gülümseyebiliriz.